Alright, so now we got the Tercel in the shop. The first thing you're going to want to do is remove your battery. That way you're not electrocuting yourself. Can very much electrocute yourself removing the starter with the battery hooked up, so remove that. Now secondly, let's locate the starter. I have a good feeling that it's back there somewhere. I see it. It's right under the intake down there. It is right under the intake in here. So what we're gonna do, instead of removing the entire intake to get to the starter, we're gonna take and jerk the car up, put it on some stands so we're safe to crawl under there, and then we're gonna try to access the starter from below the car. So while your car is up in the air, it's always a good idea to give the wheels a little shake, or at least try to shake them this way and this way. If it shakes this way, you might have some bad inner or outer tie rods. If it shakes this way, you might have some bad ball joints or a bad wheel bearing. So now I got a neat little mat to lay down on. Let's crawl up under here and find out what we can find out. The first thing I'm noticing is it looks like this is only clipped to one line when it should be clipped to all of them. Like that. Holds them where they need to go. And the starter's way up there, so I need to move my mat over there. Phone light going for y'all. Alright, so now we have a nice view of our starter motor there. We're gonna grab an extension, a 13mm socket, and a 12mm, and we should be able to pop that right out of there. Let's get to it. So the big positive lead to the starter is 12mm. One starter bolt. Well, y'all, it's time for me to look up a video on how to do this. So if I'm not mistaken, now that I've removed the starter wire, the solenoid plug, and the bottom bolt, if I'm not mistaken, deep down in here, the opposite bolt, the top bolt for the starter, is on this side of the transmission. You have to access it from the top, and it should be down in there somewhere. I'm gonna remove the air box right quick so I can have a little more access in there. This should come off pretty easy, and that'll let me hopefully get a good camera angle to show y'all what bolt I'm talking about. Alright, so now that we have the whole airbox system removed, this is actually kind of necessary to do. You just take the... Okay, let me start over. This piece is one 10mm bolt right at the front, right there. Take that loose, it just pops off that end. And then take the cap off the top of your air box, take your air filter out. We can look at this one and tell this is why this car didn't want to run very well. And we can look in here and see that it was absolutely dirty, so we're gonna have to clean all this out. Anyhow, inside of here there is one 10mm bolt right there, and then on the outside of it there's another 10mm bolt right near the brake master cylinder right there. So now that we have all that out, we have good access to the one bolt that we're after. Let me see if I could show you guys. I have to add extra light, but there's a bolt right there. This bolt right here, it's 14mm. That is the top bolt to the starter. So let's watch and see if this starter falls right out of there when I remove it. There's that top bolt for that starter. Now, with a little bit of cautiousness, you gotta watch the face. That way it doesn't fall directly on my face. See, there's a little bar in here right there. It's really hard to see with how dark it is, but that little bar actually keeps the starter from falling onto the floor, and then you can just kind of snake her out past that little rubber hose right there, and there she is. So there's the starter. Holds 2 bolts. You can see right here the 12mm and the plug that plugs in there. You can see how dirty it is. It's nasty. So now we gotta go to O'Reilly's. This is a Purple Power. Clean up all this. I did remove a sensor from one of these. I think it was this one. It had a sensor in the side of it. I took the sensor out. That way I'm not purple powering the sensor. This thing down here, I notice is just like a hollow box. I have no clue what they were thinking, but we're gonna clean that too. And yeah. This is how you keep your car running. Purple Power and the parts washer. Alright, so now I cleaned all the intake parts. Those are all clean. I'm gonna let them dry there for a little while. And now I'm gonna show you guys how to... I'm gonna show you guys how to make an air filter last just a couple more miles. All it requires is an air compressor and blower tool for your air compressor. And as we see here, this air filter actually needs to be replaced. See how the tops of those are just torn wide open? You can actually see where something has gotten in the air box and chewed into it. I think it was a squirrel of some sort. But you can see light right through there, meaning those filter elements aren't filtering nothing. It's just letting air pass right past them. So this car is going to need a new air filter, but I don't think we're going to care that much about it right this second. Alright, so I just got back from O'Reilly's. I picked up oil filter and 5 quarts of oil there. The starter was not at the O'Reilly's, so I have to wait till tomorrow to get that. That's okay. Y'all see it in the same video. Anyways, I got all the airbox cleaned up here, and what I'm gonna do right quick is I already drained the oil from the motor and took the old oil filter off of it. So these cars here are just a little weird with the oil filter mount. So the oil filter sits on the engine like that, where it's tilted downwards, so I'm not gonna fill that with oil because taking the old one off, it didn't even dump out any oil. I'm just gonna run a little bit of oil around that seal right there, screw that back on, and then this car takes 4 or 3.5 quarts of oil. I have to recheck and make sure. You have to struggle. O'Reilly's, why did you make this tough? Who be going in there and stealing oil? Hammer time. Trash. That needs to go in the trash can, not the floor. Anyways, we're gonna stick our finger in there, get a little drip going, and just around the ring, just to make sure that seals proper. Snake on there. Make sure you don't leave your old oil filter O-ring on there, because if you double stack it, it's gonna leak.
What kind of person takes a crap in the toilet and stops it up and don't tell anybody? But more so, what kind of person goes and craps on top of that crap and stops it up worse?
We have the new starter right here. It is the correct starter. This starter with the plug on it, like that, is actually from a 96 model Tercel. And this is not a 96, because 96, they had OBD2 or OBD1, one of the two. Anyways, we open the door right here, and we can see right here it says 1294. So this is a 94 Tercel that takes a 96 star. I don't know, whatever. It's just stupid. But there's one side that's threaded and one side that ain't. So the threaded side goes in the top, and we're just gonna go ahead and slap this on in there and stick a bolt in it and get to it. It's pretty simple. Let's see if I can't get y'all on a shot to see where this is. So maybe that will be in the right position for it. Oh. Oh my god, I can't tell where the hole is. Oh. Ow. Ow. Why? Why did it hurt? So I gotta hold the bottom of this light in with my foot. Otherwise it just kind of comes out of there. So now you should be able to find this bolt here, and we're going to stick it right in that hole. So if we look up in here, we can see absolutely nothing. And now we can see. Okay. We got a least lethal plug here. We're going to wait to stick that in because this is going to be easier to access without the plug-in. I tightened it so tight while I was sitting there playing with it in the store that the lock nut won't let me get it back off. Look what we got to do to this snap-on wrench to get it to do right. You gotta stick a Phillips head screwdriver in there and then click it into the off position because the little thing there is gone. Now it's just a little square. So, look, I cleaned all this up. It was absolutely nasty. Now, the easiest way to reach this is here's the CV axle. There's the lower arm. And you reach your hand up through there, and that's the easiest way to access any of this. If you reach the other way around the CV axle, good luck with the bending of the wrists. I can't believe I gotta put a wrench on this after I tightened it by finger in the store. Like, it wasn't even that tight. How did it get so tight? It's because of the way a lock nut works, or a lock washer. So we're gonna take that lock washer and we're gonna stick it on top of our connect orb here. Ah, yes. Dropped my nut. Twist this on over to the on position. We do have ratchets that aren't messed up like that, but they aren't as good as the old snap-on wrench. Oh my god, it's so tough. There it is. Plugs directly in. Now I got that one last bolt to run in, and that starter is installed. Oh, that hurts the wrist so bad. I can't tell you. Oh, it's trying to cramp up on me. Where's my wrench? $14mm. There she is, she's tight. And that's an installed brand new starter. So now all we got left is we gotta put the air box back in it. As we can see here, the whole intake for the air pulls hot air right off the radiator because there's no gap in the hood right there. 9 times out of 10, y'all, when putting a boot on something like this, there's a little marker there and a little notch to make sure you keep it in line. Ooh, this is tearing right there. Yeah, vacuum leak. This also messed up, and we're just gonna slide back on in there. Oh my gosh. There, shit. Oh, this falls out. Sit down. You got it. Okay, so now we have the GoPro plugged in. Anyways, car is back together. It runs. It actually runs a lot better with a clean air box and a clean air filter. That air filter still needs to be replaced. Anyways, this car has already had plugs and plug wires and coil packs done, valve cover gasket, all those goods. It still leaks oil though, I think. It might, I don't know. The whole bottom of the engine's covered in oil all the damn time. Anyways, that's this Tercel. And thank y'all for watching. Hope this video helped you replace the starter in your Tercel. Subscribe for more. Gasser Works.